welcome back. It is day 9 and I am super excited. I'm trying out a new format today, so I'd love to know what you think, changing up the angles of the camera and stuff like that as I explore and get used to live streaming. So if you have been paying attention, you know that I have been custom making these Nike Dunk Lows with the HKS livery, and it was a design that actually was inspired by my husband. So this is a collab that we're doing. He is definitely the car encyclopedia as well as the sneakerhead, and so it's just a super fun project. So if you've been following along, you know that I have for the most part completed the left shoe, and I just have some basic touch-up work to do on that, but I've already started the right shoe, and yesterday I ended up getting the black on, and then this morning I worked off camera and I started to put on some of the stencils just to speed up the process a little, but I have been timing myself. So in total, I spent about an hour this morning cutting out the stencils, placing them on the shoe. I did take video of that, so I am going to show that. I'll do it kind of like at a faster pace so you can see that whole process, because again, I'm exploring what it is like to make a whole set of customs, like start to finish, while streaming it. I think that that's super interesting because most of the videos that I watch, because there's so many amazing creatives out there and so many amazing artists that do custom work, but it's always like an edited with all the cutouts, so it's like a nice compressed, easy to watch show almost. So I don't know, it might be boring, but I'm having a good time, and thank you so much for being here. So yeah, I am soon these will look like these, and I'm super happy about that. And I am working on a deadline, so that's kind of why I'm doing some stuff off camera, because I do need to get these done sooner than later. So, but I will show that footage. So thank you for being here. Welcome. And if you have any questions, ask me in the chat, say hi in the chat. I'm just really glad that you're here and hanging out. So I'm gonna switch over to the video I took this morning while I switch up my camera angle, so that way you can see what these guys look like. So give me just a second and I will get that going for you. Okay. So this is me this morning, and you know, it's all that really fun stuff. So like I said, I was working this morning, and this is basically what I was doing. So I'm trying to play it at a faster speed for you. That way you can see what's going on. Okay, I'm just gonna set up my camera angle so as I'm working. So the goal today is actually to get the stencils on and to get the green paint painted. That's the green paint painted. A good warm-up exercise. So I was kind of struggling a little bit with my stencils this morning, but I was using the previous shoe to see what the left shoe was looking like as I was putting on the stencils on this right shoe, because I want, when I wear them, I want kind of the angle of the stencil and like that HKS logo going in the same direction. So having the other shoe there rather than this time working off of like a piece of paper and like a image of a car with the livery on it, I'm just working off of the other shoe, so there's a sense of consistency. So I just was doing that and kind of comparing, and I was having sometimes a little bit of struggle with my decals this morning, but it wasn't too bad. All right, so we are live and let's get started. So like, as you can see, I have these stencils on. This is where I'm starting with, and I guess I'll just keep that on just in case for protection. But let's go ahead and get started with painting so we can get these guys going and we can get the paint on it. I'm really excited today. Oh, yeah. All right. So again, I am using the South Beach straight out of the bottle for this one. I don't need to mix it or anything like that. I don't need to lay down white ahead of time. I think I learned that lesson the last time around I was talking about where I ended up making too much cleanup work. So I'm just going to use it straight out of the bottle. I have a little cotton swab. I have my toothpick if I need it for detail work. I have a little cotton pad in case I need to do any, in case oops, because that happens. And then I'm going to be using a number 6 filbert is the brush that I'm going to be using. I think it just will give me good coverage because it's a pretty decent sized stencil. So I think this will give me good coverage with that. So let's get started today. Always like to shake it up. So I tend to just add a little bit of paint at a time into my color palette holder. I don't know, what is that called? My paint holder, my paint palette. I always can add more. I just don't want it to all dry out. So let's get started. And again, it's just going to be really light coats, and it's going to look really patchy until probably that third or fourth coat. And similar to when I did the black, I definitely like to come in and I like to make sure that on the first pass, I really get the edges and the seaming, and especially the stitching the first time around. And then I don't want to paint into the stencil. I want to pull, so I'll usually drop the paint, but then I want to pull away, so that way I'm not brushing the paint underneath, that I'm actually pulling it away, just to make sure that it's that really clean line and I'm not getting any paint going like underneath the stencil, because that just means it's more cleanup work. And this is also why I spent so much time yesterday painting the holes black, because I'm not going to go in and paint the green into the holes. I like them just having the black and the contrast. I like the way that looks. But that's also why I spent so much time yesterday, because I knew I wouldn't be going back to do that today. So this is kind of that area where I do like to make sure I go in and I get plenty of coverage in just the creases. That way, like, it's there, and as I keep doing the layers, I don't really have to focus on those areas as much because they've already been taken care of. I'm having a lot of fun making these. It's just been such like a good, fun project. I always think it's fun to make something and then use it, whether it's a at-home project, like a DIY, I don't know, I just feel like DIY stuff is really fun. It's just very fulfilling for me. To see something online or get some inspiration and be like, oh, that's cool, I want to try that out and try it and make it. And I don't know, I just have such a sense of accomplishment when I finish like a DIY project and I'm like, hey, I did that. Whether it's something I'm wearing or something around the house, maybe building something, it's just super fun. This first coat always looks so patchy and not good. And again, I want to make sure I get the, I want to get good coverage on the first round, on the first pass of the stitching, because I don't really want there to be any black. I want them to be very solid. So if I do it now, the other coats will coat on top of it and really make it look even, right? So I don't have any black showing here now because I've spent that extra little time to make sure I have full coverage. So as I then just do my really thin passes after this, it looks really clean and I just realized I stopped mid-sentence and left it on a cliffhanger. You're welcome. Maybe I really cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. In fact, yesterday I was exercising with the Ring Fit, the Switch Ring Fit, and I was talking to my husband while I was just jogging in place, and that alone made it so like I started to lose my balance and I totally like fell backwards into the couch, and he's like, what happened? I'm like, I can't jog in place and talk at the same time. Ay, ay, ay. For somebody who took a lot of theater and dance and like musical theater as a kid, I sure feel like as an adult, I really have no coordination left. It really feels sometimes like I have just absolutely no coordination. I have lost all of that muscle memory. It really is true. If you don't use it, you lose it. But you can always get it back. Okay, so also too, on this first pass, I really like to go in and get those edges. And I am a fan, for me personally, I really like the edges colored versus, I mean, I could make the creative decision to leave them black, which would be a totally different decision, but I really like the look of the color on the lip and on the lip of that leather. I cannot get enough of that look. There's just something about it that I find, I think it's my favorite part. I really think it's like the favorite part of like how the design works on the shoe. There's something about it that I'm just really into. Yeah, so by focusing there, it really allows for like these, oh, you can't see that. You know, it really allows for the way that the paint sits here, and I just really love how that looks. So I put a lot of time and energy into that. And again, I'm just covering, really making sure the stitching is has good coverage from the get-go. And then I will have to go underneath. Right now I have it taped, so it's a really clean line. Like I just used the stencil to carry over. So I will have to go in and do like paint on the inside because I like the look where it covers over. So I'll have to go in and paint underneath the flap. But right now I have the flap taped down. Okay, do not paint on the swoosh. The swoosh is supposed to stay black. I have to like say that out loud so I don't forget. Okay, I don't have the liner taped, and because I'm butting the green up, I don't have the liner taped here. So since I'm butting up against the fabric there, I just have to be really careful that I don't hit the inside liner. I don't think I'm using the right word there, but. So how I do that, it's kind of hard to show on camera, but what I do is with my brush, I start from here and I kind of place it into the groove and I pull away. And that really allows me to get a really clean line without getting it on the fabric. But that angle's hard, so I'm gonna finish it up going this way. Okay. And then I don't want to paint on this part of the swoosh, so I need to remind myself of that. This little corner right here is probably just going to take some touch-up work once I pull everything off. But I can go ahead and use a smaller filbert to get those little small details and those little crevices and corners because it's a complicated stencil. So I do have the swoosh coming here, so I just want to make sure I stay off of the swoosh. And then I also want to make sure I'm not painting on the, it's hard to see that, but there's the Nike, Nike there is stitched and embroidered, and I want to make sure I'm not touching that embroidery because I want to leave that with just the straight black. And I don't really want to have to do much touch-up work. So yeah, I decided to just leave it black. And then same technique here of going into the groove and coming back because I do have to be careful. I'm gonna switch to the smaller brush just because it's a little bit more detail work, and that was too big of a brush head. And again, yeah, that first layer always looks really patchy. Always. I'm just making sure it's dry to the touch since I know I'm going to be resting it on that side. And then I don't want it to come up here because that again is the swoosh, so. same thing, like you can see I tend to start from whatever edge and then just pull the paint back. And I'm still gonna have touch-up work on these edges, but like 2 little points coming up and over. I think that's gonna look cool. Oof, last one. All right, coat 1 is done. Ooh, pecan. I mean, there's definitely more that I want to put, but we're going to do that in the second layer of the stencils. In the second round of stencils, because the outside border was just too thick, so I couldn't fit it all in on this first pass. That heat is buckling my vinyl board I'm working on. I'm spending a little bit more time on the heat gun today because I do want to peel off these stencils to be able to put on the next round today. And so I just want to make sure each layer is really dry. So I try to avoid any peel up because I'm going to kind of try to expedite the process and not have to have it wait overnight to get all of the green done today. That's my goal today, to finish the green. So tomorrow I can do the purple. And I find that like it's usually on that first layer that the underbleed will happen. So once that first one is down, I can be a little bit, it just goes a little bit faster because I'm not as worried about the paint going underneath. Well, for me, it's the 15th. I cannot believe it's already July 15th. That's crazy to me. Cuckoo in the coop. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Where that came from. Hello, 80s cartoons. Hello, Saturday morning 80 cartoons and cartoon commercials. When I spend the extra time on the all the stitching the first time around, it really just gives a nice surface for like the second and third coat to go on. Okay, this is a little bit more detailed, so I'm going to switch to the smaller filbert. We're onto the heel. Okay. This is more of that detail work, so I'm going to switch to the smaller brush. As I'm back working with these materials and brushes and stuff like that, using the right shape and size brush for the project that you're doing, just like any project, like using the proper tool will really yield way better results. Which is one of the reasons why I love tools so much. Because tools really can make or break a project. I mean, there's always some sort of a hack, right? And it doesn't mean you have to have the most expensive. But in this case, just having a smaller brush to do that detail work versus a larger one, it makes a big difference. And then also having a larger brush to get more coverage depending on how fast you want to go and how non-streaky you want it. That also makes a difference. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can do this on camera. I think you can see, yeah, but like I will, and anytime I'm doing something, I put the paint just to the edge, and then like I deposit the paint there, and then I pull it away to give me a really clean line so it doesn't go up onto that edge. less fun. This right shoe is definitely going faster, just in general, because I'm not... That left shoe was the first shoe I had done in 9 months. So I hadn't played with shoes or paints or materials or anything like that. So kind of like just my muscle memory was a little rusty. Thankfully, the first pancake turned out okay. You know, because you always throw out the first pancake when you're making pancakes because it's never pretty. So I guess that's something to think about. If it's like your first time working with something, or you haven't worked with something in a while, maybe like doing a test or adjusting your expectations as such. I don't know. But I do definitely notice that I'm going a lot faster. I'm more confident in my use of the materials. I'm knowing what to do, knowing how this shoe's gonna function, and what I'm working with. So it is going a lot faster and a lot smoother. I'm just gonna lay this out because I'm working on like this vinyl top. I don't really want it heating up. I would like to maintain it. So I'm just gonna put this cloth down so that way it kind of protects it a little bit from the heat gun. The heat gun is melting, not melting, but it's like affecting the plastic vinyl over here. I guess if you didn't have a heat gun, you could totally use like a hair dryer. You just would want the hair dryer to be maybe a little bit further away if it's paint still wet, because you don't want like the hair dryer to like spread the paint. But I guess in a pinch, if that's all you had, you could totally use a hair dryer on just like on the low blow mode, but on the high heat, so you don't have to buy another piece of equipment if you're trying to find something you have lying around the house that could work. And you do curly hair like me and you use a diffuser, even better, because that also will like soften the air coming out of it, so it's just like an even warm heat hitting it, which is pretty much what the heat gun is if you keep it far enough away. If you're just joining, I'm Erin. I like to make stuff. I started this channel as a way to show up and make stuff. So I tend to not prioritize my own creativity over all the other life things and tasks and activities that I do. And I find that I'm just in better spirits and I am a better version of myself when I'm creating. So that is why I started this channel. And these are some custom dunk lows that is based off of the HKS livery that you can see. And it's actually a collab with my husband because he is the car aficionado, the car encyclopedia, as well as the sneakerhead. So he's actually the one that designed them. But this set of shoes is actually going to be for me. And I'm very excited about that. So yeah. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. I'd love to know where you're joining from. You always can say hi in the chat, ask me a question, or just hang out. Enjoy. I'm spending extra time heating up because, again, I want to be able to take these stencils off today as soon as I'm done with the third coat. So I really want to give things a chance to dry each layer, so that way it's fully dry, and I can kind of speed up the process of how long I have to wait. I feel like something. I guess that's harder to heal. Yeah. Okay. Let's go for code 3. And we are gonna start, I think I keep starting with this one, so same one we're gonna start with. Yeah, see, I don't have to even do that much to get really nice coverage on the stitching now. So 3 of these holes have gotten filled. So maybe I will end up filling them, because otherwise I'm going to have inconsistency. But it's not that way on the other shoe. So I might actually just end up, well, I'll figure it out. paint the swoosh. I feel like I forgot this one last time. Ah, that's gonna be touch-up work. That's what happens. I overdid it there, but that's an easy touch-up with some black paint. That I guess is one nice thing of black being your base is that it makes filling up lines like that very easy versus maybe if it was a white base. And then I'm in that detail work again. Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm going to use the small filbert to do some of this more detail work because it's just a smaller area. And if I use too big of a brush, it's just going to get paint everywhere, and I don't want that. And then while I'm at it, I will use my filbert to go over here. Little one. Thankful for these stencils though. They're like, they just make this such an enjoyable process. Super fun and easy just to kind of like zone out while you work. talked about it earlier, but as I kind of get back to showing up and making stuff that I like, whatever it might be, I'm finding just a lot more fulfillment in the rest of my day to day. And I think it really is that, like, this is a great way for me to kind of, making is a good way for me to channel kind of how I naturally think. It's also, I'm realizing how I really process like my thoughts and my emotions. And so I think when I'm not making and I'm not doing like a creative outlet, I end up getting frustrated in other areas of my life. I don't know if that ever happens to you, but it's like when I deny the things that just feel so good and like so natural to me, or I don't have the opportunity to do them, I end up getting really frustrated in other aspects, and that energy and those thoughts can just get negative really fast. And then I feel like something's out of my control rather than being in my control, meaning like maybe I'm getting frustrated in a situation and I start thinking it's the other person versus like, no, it's just me because I'm frustrated and I'm not taking care of myself first, you know? I've been thinking about that a lot since I started this channel, and like how I've been feeling at the end of every day and like when I wake up in the morning. Because I'm finding now that like, I mean, I'm always a relatively productive person. I'm always working on something, but like my energy is more focused. And there's a purpose to my energy at this point in time that I was floundering for a really long time, maybe a couple years of like asking myself these very big existential questions of like, what do I want to do? And what do I want to say with my art? And how am I going to do this? And staying kind of in my head and not really doing and not making the time, even though I always have ideas and I'm always jotting things down. But now that I'm just showing up every day, because even on the off days that I'm not streaming, I still show up, I still sketch, I maybe work on something. And I try to give myself time every day to work on something creative. It's really changing just like my overall energy, the mood that I'm in, the way that I'm able to process everything. It's been pretty incredible. And just, you know what, the 2-3 weeks I've been, no, today's only day 9. So yeah, this is week 3. Pretty incredible. Sometimes the immediate impact we can see based on our actions and sometimes the decisions that we make. I'd love to know if you have a similar experience. If you're watching the playback, drop your comment. Let me know if you ever feel the same way. If you're joining me live, I'd love to know what you think. But yeah, like, do you ever get frustrated, you know, with certain things, and then you kind of reflect and realize like, oh, maybe it's because I'm not doing this thing that I really love, or I haven't been able to do that. And I think it also became a lot more apparent this year with the pandemic and not being able to do certain things. Like, so for example, I love camping, I love being outdoors, and yes, that was a very safe space, but at the same time, like a lot of stuff was shut down, you know, like national parks got shut down, open spaces got shut down just because we had to lock down. And I think I just was even a little bit more aware of it this past year. And I think that's also really kind of helped me see like, yo, I gotta prioritize. A lot of people like, oh, prioritize your health, prioritize sleep. Like for me, I really have to prioritize like making things and being creative. However it manifests itself. So I can tell that some of the areas, either it's because I'm talking and I'm not paying attention. There are some that feel like they're a little bit patchier. Like this one here feels like, even with 3 coats, like it doesn't have as much, versus as like the toe box feels like the paint is a lot thicker. So I am gonna go in and do a 4th coat, but that was the same on the other shoe. I ended up doing a 4th coat. Because I don't want any black to show up underneath, and I don't want there to be any streakiness. watching a lot of custom videos for a while before starting any of the shoes I've done. I have mad respect because it takes a while to learn the material and then also to do the actual painting. Like, it takes time, and just like my respect level has gone up so much to any other creative or artist out there who is doing like custom shoes, because A, to come up with the design and then to like see it on the shoe, execute it, have the patience to do it, also to be like, dang it, I messed that one up, and having to picture like all of that. Super mad respect. Okay. So I'm actually going to do my next coat on the areas that I think are really patchy. Either I missed something or I don't know what happened there, but like this one is definitely just does not feel like it has that much coverage. So I'm gonna do those and dry them and then see. Maybe I did miss this one. Had to have. Watch something and be like, oh yeah, I totally missed all of those. No wonder why they look so patchy. Guarantee I'm gonna forget which ones I've painted since I started at a different section. Yeah, the fourth coat you can tell because it just finishes covering everything up. I love this South Beach color. There's something so playful about it as a color. I'm sure that's the point though. You ever think about colors? Nature's pretty amazing. I don't know if you spend much time outdoors, but nature kind of does it perfect. If you ever notice like the sunsets have complementary colors, or they're monochromatic, or like all the color theory that you ever study if you're an artist. All you have to do is look around the world around you and you can see all of that. It's amazing. I've granted it's all where it came from, but I don't know. Sometimes when I'm out and about, like I see something and I'm like, dang, that's a perfect example of this. And I just appreciate it. I say that because the other day I was walking and I was just watching like I'm always trying to keep my skills sharp. So I was watching a video on like color theory and stuff like that, and complementary colors or something. And then I was walking and there was like this perfect door with the flower and then the sky, and they were all in like the same side of like the color spectrum. It was like a light purple, a light blue, and like this light green. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a perfect example of like the color triangle from this particular color palette. I don't know, it just was cool. Got me thinking about that as I was really enjoying the South Beach color. Got the heel to do. I think I'm just having to do a little bit more because I didn't do like a more white base, even though this is a really light color. So I think that's probably why I'm noticing that it feels like it's taking more coats this time, but it will definitely eliminate my need for so much touch-up work, because when I had that really light underbase, if it bled under, then I would have to cover that up. It was kind of hard to do that without fussing with the decal line on the first shoe, meaning like it's really hard to freehand a straight edge, and that's ultimately what I'm doing when I'm doing touch-up work, right? Like I'm having to freehand what I'm doing, and if I have to do a straight line freehand, I'm most likely gonna make it crooked. So, okay. I think that is all. So I'm gonna dry it and then I'm gonna see where I'm at. There might be some sections that I need just a little bit more, but that's okay. And then I totally got extra paint in some of these. In some of these toe box holes. Okay. So I'm going to take a look to see what the coverage is looking like, if there's any other areas that I need to do. Like this particular one, I think it's hard to see it on camera, but there's still just a little bit of darkness behind it. So I think I'm just going to kind of go over with more of like a dry brush and hit any areas that that just need a little bit extra because they look a little bit streaky still. And it's really just kind of some of these like larger flat areas. I've done a pretty good job in the on the stitching and on the edges and like more of the detail areas, but I think it's just some of these big flat areas that still have a little bit of streakiness. So when I say a dry brush, it just means like there's not too much paint. I'm really just doing like a final touch-up coat to remove any streakiness. It's not a lot of paint that I'm using. Yep. We just needed a final pass. I keep saying K like it's gonna make it go faster. looks really good. So that is that layer. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm really just gonna hit it with the heat gun, and then I gotta let it cool down. So I'll probably end up taking a break for just a couple minutes to give it a chance to cool down, and then I will attempt to start removing the stencils, and hopefully, I mean, I know the advice is always like let them dry as much as they can, but I really would like to get another set on here today if possible. But yeah. Nice question, Lover Pillows topic. How much is too much for an eighth? An eighth of what? Lever. I don't buy things in eighths. But thanks for being here, Lover Pills topic. Appreciate it. I don't think I could be much help on that one. But if you got any other questions, guess I could have been more cheeky. An eighth of what? An eighth of a pie. An eighth of a pizza. An eighth of a shoe. more existential question would be, how much is too much? Well, I feel like that's a relative question. What's too much for me might not be too much for you, and vice versa. Okay. So I definitely am going to need to let this cool down for a little bit. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to take a quick break, and then I will I will be back in just a couple minutes because I do need to take a break. I need to let this cool down. And then, so maybe in 5 I'll be back. All right, see you soon. Okay, I am back, y'all. It is time to take off some of this stencil. I just was thinking through it, and I am going to remove the stencils today, but after that, my better judgment is coming in, and if I were to lay new stencils on top of this fresh, I'm just scared that I'm gonna reverse all the work that I did. So I will get the stencils removed, and then we'll see where we're at. And then off camera, I'm gonna time myself because I do want to see the real time, and I will film it. And then I will show that playback footage the next time I stream, just to give it time to fully set before I do more coverage over it. Because the last thing I want is to put a stencil on top of all this work I just did and then have it peel up, which does happen, and we know that happened when I did my first set of shoes because I didn't let the black sit long enough. So great. Also, usually there's stickiness, so I also need to use some tape to get that stickiness up before I do my next round of stencils, because the last thing you want is to be painting on top of stick. Is that a technical term? I'm gonna heat stuff just so it tries to come off a little easier. I remember having some success with that. Yeah, but I think because I definitely am noticing a little bit more stickiness as I'm pulling this off, just because I did really heat them up so I got a clean line. But you can see, like, by really heating the stencil on it. Let's see if it gives me a really clean line, but then it's also just making, it's a really clean line as I'm pulling it up, but it's definitely leaving stick. So it will have to go in, and what I'll do is I'll use tape. I'll show you, but I will use tape to pull up that stickiness. And then I just use my X-Acto knife sometimes to get these areas. But these lines are really clean, like that. I mean, on the stitching, you're gonna have some underbleed because there's just no way, but that is, I mean, look at the rest of that line. That is really clean. So definitely using the heat gun to really heat the stencil up after you put it on to have it adhere and kind of mold to the shoe definitely works, but it does leave stick. So there we go. Yeah, that looks really good. I'm still chuckling at Lover Pill's comment. I'm sometimes very slow on the comeback. So if you ask me questions, it might take me a minute to respond. I'm one of those people who, like, is the, dang it, I thought of a comeback like 3 hours later. I was out loud processing to myself. Yeah, not that that required a comeback. Not at all. In fact, where I'm currently living, if what I think you're referring to is the case, it's actually quite illegal here. So unfortunately, I have not been able to expand my mind in the creative way that I like to when I sometimes, partake in those eights. If that is what you're referring to. But where I was living, totally legal. And thankfully where I'm moving to, also totally legal. And I'm totally for that. Let me tell you, when I'm sore after a workout, or as a female, when that menstrual cycle comes, I miss it. Yeah, these lines are super clean. Super clean. Like the happy dance right now. I always like get so happy when I take off the stencils and you kind of can like see the present and the surprise after underneath. My vinyl's sticking to my vinyl. There we go. Oh my gosh. That is a super clean line on that. Whew. I I'm really liking that. But you can see on camera, see how sticky it is back here? Like, do you see that variation of color? It's because this is all like residual stick from stick. I'm calling like the stickiness stick, but it's like all residual gooiness from the vinyl. So I will have to pull that up. How I will do that is I will just use the same electrical tape that I use to tape the base. I just use like a small piece about like this, and then I come in here and I just have to sit and like really kind of sit here and like spend a lot of time unsticking it with this action. So this is gonna be like, I don't know, probably sit and watch a movie while I do this, because I can tell already this is gonna be a lot. But I guess what's cool is like this won't be very like focused work. Again, like I could sit and I could watch a movie, or I don't know, do this on another time. Versus like sitting on camera and doing it, or like having to be just very focused, like when I'm painting. So I think I would much rather trade like this super clean line. Do you see that? For a little extra stick. 'Cause I mean, that is like, boom, super clean. How was that? Boom. Yeah, but that's how I'm gonna do it, just so you get a sense. But there's a lot on there, and I find that kind of this action really helps. Seems to be like the most effective. For removing it. So, I mean, you can see it's just kind of mindless, tedious work. But it'll be nice and relaxing. One of the same reasons why I crochet. Sometimes you just want like a very cathartic, mindless, repetitive action to do at the end of the day while you unwind. But this just kind of gives you a chance to see how long just the one section takes, right? So now if I hold this, you can see that the line is gone, right? And then you can see here where it is sticky. So all these areas that are matte, it should be shiny. So yeah, but that wasn't too bad. So that'll be just some other touch up and cleanup work. But I'm gonna guess that it'll probably be like a good hour worth of just sitting here doing that. So to give a sense of when you see custom shoes, anything custom, it takes a long time. It can take a long time, I should say. It doesn't always. And it just maybe increases your appreciation. At least for me, that's what it is. It's like when I know how something is made, I tend to have more of appreciation. Like the more knowledge I find, the more appreciation I have. It kind of was like what I was talking about yesterday regarding how I don't know a ton about cars, but my husband does. And so when we go to car shows together, he's so full of information, like I can appreciate it so much more because he can give me so much more information about like the make, the model, why this was special when it was introduced, maybe like who the driver of this particular race car was and why it's significant, and like all the stuff that he knows. And it just really helps me have a greater appreciation for the thing that I'm experiencing or looking at or enjoying. And I think it's the same thing when like we look at artwork, when we look at custom work, you know, when something isn't mass produced, when it takes a little bit more craftsmanship, even if something is mass produced, if there's high craftsmanship, I sometimes just think like I'm fascinated by tools, by processes, because it just really increases my appreciation of that thing. Yeah, these lines are much cleaner than the first shoe. Much cleaner. I mean, I'm gonna have a little bit of cleanup here, like as you can see, but that's not hard because it's just really fine touch up with black paint. Same thing back here. Like, that's gonna happen, but that's pretty easy touch up. What's hard to touch up is these really long lines. Because remember I said, like, if it's not super clean, like it'll kind of, it's hard to make a straight line freehand. Oh. Yeah, that's looking really good. I mean, it looks very sparse right now because I only had a couple stencils. It really makes you see like how few stencils that really felt like, even though it looks like it's a lot. It's actually not because of all the outline. I don't know if that one could be any cleaner. That one looks so good. Shoot. Okay, that is looking really good. I really like how this one is interacting with the swoosh. I'm really liking that. Oh, that's cool. I'm just admiring it for a second. That looks really good. See, like, I don't know if you can see this, but like, I kind of see how sticky that is. Look how satisfying that is. Of course, this one is like the least clean line that I zoom up on. Of course. Yeah, that looks definitely some cleanup here, but it's also because it's like on the stitching. Like there's a lot of stitching right here, but that'll be easy cleanup, just to hit that with black, but that is really good. But you can see just like the difference of like the shine to the stick. There we go. Looks really good. Last one, y'all. That line, look how clean that is on the toe box. Woohoo! That is a super clean line. little vinyl got stuck. All right, the finishing. This is not a good final finale. The final finale with this tiny piece. All right. So the stencils are off. Let's take a look. Yeah, this looks good. I mean, I will be putting like one here. I'll be putting one here. Probably putting another one up here. So there's a little bit more green before I add the purple. There's definitely going to be more here and here. Definitely more here and here. So I have a whole nother round of stencils to do. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I have 4 more in the one direction. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8 in the reverse. So the blue one that you saw was a reverse. So I don't know how many more I'll put. I'll probably count compared to this one, but let's just look at the shoes side by side. Let's look at them side by side and see what we got. So, I mean, I feel like the lines are pretty complementary in terms of like when I go to wear them, they are gonna feel like a cohesive unit, right? Because I didn't want them to be, you know, 2 different directions. So, I guess, yeah. Right, so yeah, like the lines are pretty similar. Guess it would be more. I don't know what I'm doing here. Whatever. But yeah, I think it's looking good. So, okay, all right, I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna switch some angle up, and I'm gonna. Just bear with me while I move this camera around so you can see my lovely mug. Hey, okay. So I think that makes it for today. So yeah, I'm really happy with where I'm at with this shoe. So it's looking really good. I'm really happy with it. I think I got really clean lines today, but I mean, there's a lot of negative space. So on my second round, definitely will be filling in all that negative space. You can see the stickiness like in the color, like you can see how the light is catching. So I'm gonna go in with my tape and do the unsticky dance. I don't know what we're talking about. And yeah. Oh wait, I was on the toe. So those are some really clean lines. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of negative space, but oh, look at this right here. Like, I'm really liking how that particular guy is interacting with the swoosh. It's hard to see because it's all black on black. But yeah, really happy with the shoe. So I'm gonna end my stream here. I wanna thank you for showing up and joining me while I work on these. So I will be doing the unstick. I'm gonna let it sit. I'm going to add the next set of stencils, and then I probably will just paint them. I will do all the filming, but I will stream that next week since today is Thursday for me. So I will be back next week on Tuesday, same time, 1:30 GMT +8, and it will be scheduled on my channel if you want to hit the reminder. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Erin, I make stuff, and I will see you next time as I get ready to transition out. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week with more of these guys.